Welcome, adventure seekers, to the official Tell Yourself a Story audiobook production. Have you ever walked into a dusty old thrift shop and felt like the air was just different? Like every forgotten item whispered a secret? For Jamie, a perfectly ordinary university student navigating the chaos of assignments and late-night study sessions, that feeling was about to become a hilarious, life-altering reality. This is the story of the student and the genie. It all begins with a seemingly mundane find, a tarnished, intricate lamp. But when Jamie, or maybe it was Emily, or Alex, or Jake, student have a knack for stumbling into trouble, gives it a fateful rub, they unleash a grumpy, sarcastic, and wholly unpredictable genie. Forget your typical fairy tale. This is a crash course in modern magic, where wishes never go as planned. Hoping for a perfect exam score? You might end up with an endless supply of pizza instead. Wishing for popularity? Try turning your ex into a toad, or becoming a viral sensation for slipping on a banana peel. Join us as we dive into a whirlwind of spontaneous pizza parties, time-traveling lectures, and accidental transformations. It is an unlikely partnership between a student just trying to survive university and an ancient being just trying to get a decent nap. Get ready for wit, wisdom, and a whole lot of chaos. The lamp is rubbed, the smoke is swirling, and the adventure is about to begin. The Student and the Genie. Chapter 1. The Thrift Shop Treasure. A lamp in the rough. In the heart of a bustling city, Jamie stumbled upon a thrift shop that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. The shop was filled with oddities, but it was the dusty lamp tucked away in a corner that caught their eye. It looked like it had been forgotten for centuries, covered in grime and neglect. Jamie could not resist the urge to pick it up, imagining it as a quirky addition to their student digs. Little did they know, this lamp was anything but ordinary. As Jamie rubbed the lamp, a cloud of smoke erupted, and out popped a rather disgruntled genie. Really? Another one? The genie groaned, his arms crossed in an exasperated expression on his face. Jamie stood frozen, jaw dropped, trying to comprehend the reality of what was happening. The genie, named Zafar, had a knack for sarcasm, and a long history of dealing with clueless humans, which made for a rather amusing first encounter. Jamie quickly realized that this was no typical fairy tale situation. The first wish was a disaster. Jamie, hoping for a perfect exam score, inadvertently wished for an endless supply of pizza instead. Zafar rolled his eyes, conjuring stacks of pizza boxes that piled up in the tiny apartment. Congratulations, you have just become the most popular student in the dorm, he laughed, as Jamie tried to figure out how to explain the culinary chaos to their flatmates. If each wish, the antics became more outrageous, turning the mundane life of a university student into a whirlwind of bizarre adventures. From spontaneous pizza parties to time-traveling lectures, Jamie and Zafar created a chaotic bond that was both hilarious and heartwarming. Misadventure taught Jamie valuable lessons, even if they often came wrapped in a layer of absurdity. Zafar's witty retorts and Jamie's rowing confidence transformed their unlikely partnership into something special. The lamp, once a dusty relic, became a symbol of friendship and discovery. Ultimately, Jamie realized that the true magic was not in the wishes, but in the journey they shared with Zafar. The lamp, which had sparked a series of wild escapades, also ignited Jamie's passion for the unpredictable nature of life. As they prepared for their final wish, Jamie pondered what truly mattered: a perfect exam score or the unforgettable memories made along the way. With a grin, Jamie looked at Zafar, ready to make a wish that would change everything, knowing that the best adventures were yet to come. The shopkeepers, oddities. In the heart of the bustling city, tucked away in a narrow alley, was an unassuming thrift shop. The sign creaked ominously, reading oddities and curiosities in faded letters. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of old wood and dust, mingling with a hint of something sweet, like forgotten dreams. The shopkeeper, an eccentric old man with wild hair and mismatched socks, greeted every patron with a toothy grin that suggested he knew far more than he let on. It was a place where the ordinary blended seamlessly with the extraordinary, and every item had a story waiting to be discovered. As Emily, the university student, stepped inside, her eyes widened at the sheer volume of strange artifacts lining the shelves. A taxidermy raccoon wearing a tiny top hat caught her attention, while a collection of antique mirrors seemed to whisper secrets whenever she walked past. The shopkeeper, noticing her fascination, began to regale her with tales of the object's origins, each more bizarre than the last. She found herself laughing at his wild anecdotes, Realizing that this was no typical thrift shop, it was a veritable treasure trove of oddities that sparked her imagination. Among the clutter, Emily's gaze fell upon a dusty, ornate lamp, its surface intricately carved with swirling patterns. It was nothing like the modern trinkets surrounding it. The shopkeeper noticed her interest and leaned in closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a grand secret. "Ah, this one is special. Rumor has it, it holds a genie," he exclaimed, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Emily chuckled, thinking he was just trying to sell her a story, but a curious spark ignited within her. Could there be more to this lamp than met the eye? With a mixture of skepticism and intrigue, Emily purchased the lamp, her mind swirling with thoughts of magical beings and whimsical adventures. Back at her tiny university flat, she found herself polishing the lamp, half expecting a genie to pop out and grant her wishes. Instead, she was met with a puff of smoke and a rather disgruntled genie who had clearly been in a long slumber. The unexpected twist sent her heart racing. This was the beginning of a fantastical journey she had never anticipated. As her adventures unfolded, Emily realized that the shopkeeper's oddities were just the beginning. Each item she encountered carried a hint of magic, leading her deeper into a world where the ordinary turned extraordinary. With every twist and turn, she found herself laughing at the absurdity of it all, grateful for the chance encounter that had changed her life. The shopkeeper, with his oddities and quirks, had opened the door to a realm of possibilities, all beginning with a simple, thrifty find. Chapter 2. Rubbing the Wrong Way. The Unlikely Awakening. In a dusty corner of a thrift shop, filled with forgotten treasures and oddities, Jamie stumbled upon a lamp that looked like it had seen better centuries. The lamp was tarnished, with intricate designs that hinted at its ancient origins, and it practically screamed to be taken home. Little did Jamie know, this seemingly mundane object would lead to an adventure that would turn the ordinary university life upside down. With a shrug and a laugh, Jamie decided to buy it, thinking it would make a quirky addition to the dorm room. One evening, after a long day of lectures and the usual student woes, Jamie decided to give the lamp a good polish. As the cloth rubbed against the metal, a strange sensation filled the air. It was almost as if the lamp was alive. Suddenly, with a puff of vibrant smoke, up popped a rather disgruntled genie, who looked as if he had just woken up from a century-long nap. "Great. Just what I needed. A student with a penchant for antique shopping," he groaned, rolling his eyes as he adjusted his turban. Jamie was taken aback, mouth agape, but quickly realized this was the opportunity of a lifetime. The genie, who introduced himself as Farouk, was not your average wish-granter. He was sarcastic, witty, and surprisingly relatable. As they exchanged banter, Jamie could not help but think that perhaps having a genie around could spice up the mundane routine of university life. The two quickly struck up an unconventional friendship, one that was filled with laughter and unexpected life lessons. Their first adventure together began when Jamie, in a moment of impulsive curiosity, asked Farouk about his past. With a sigh and a dramatic flair, the genie recounted stories of ancient kingdoms, epic battles, and the occasional mishap involving a magic carpet. Jamie was captivated, hanging on to every word, and found themselves dreaming of a life far removed from textbooks and exams. The thrill of the unknown beckoned, and with Farouk by their side, Jamie felt the thrill of adventure bubbling beneath the surface. As the weeks flew by, Jamie and Farouk embarked on a series of escapades that included everything from time travel to dodging mischievous spirits. With each adventure, Jamie not only learned about the world of magic, but also discovered more about themselves. They realized that sometimes the most unlikely awakenings come from the most unexpected places, and maybe, just maybe, they were destined for more than just being a regular student. With a genie as a guide, the possibilities seemed endless, and Jamie was ready to embrace whatever came next. Meet my new roommate. As I stepped into my new university flat, the first thing that struck me was the smell. Not the fresh paint, or the lingering scent of old books, but a distinct aroma of something that can only be described as a mix between burnt popcorn and questionable takeout. My new roommate, Sam, was already in the kitchen, trying to whip up what he claimed was a gourmet meal. Spoiler alert, it definitely was not. Sam was the kind of guy you would expect to see on a reality show about survival skills. He had an impressive beard that looked like it had its own ecosystem, and an attitude that screamed, "I am here to have fun." He introduced himself with a cheeky grin and a handshake that felt more like a wrestling match. I could not help but wonder how I would ended up sharing a flat with someone so wildly different from me. Our first conversation revolved around his prized possession, a dusty old lamp he had found at a local thrift shop. I thought it was just another piece of junk, but Sam insisted it was a Genie lamp. I laughed it off, thinking it was just his quirky sense of humor. Little did I know, this lamp would turn our lives upside down in ways I could never have imagined. As the days went by, I realized that living with Sam was like being on a roller coaster without a seatbelt. One moment, we would be binge-watching terrible reality shows, and the next, he would be trying to conjure up a genie by rubbing that lamp. I often found myself hiding my face in a pillow, suppressing laughter while he performed ridiculous rituals that involved chanting and a lot of hand-waving. Despite the chaos, I quickly grew fond of my eccentric roommate. We became an unlikely duo, navigating university life and the mysteries of an ancient genie. Sam's carefree spirit brought a sense of adventure to my otherwise mundane routine, reminding me that sometimes, the best memories are made with those who are a little bit crazy. Who would have thought that my new roommate would turn out to be the most entertaining part of my university experience? Chapter 3. Genie in a Jam. The Wish That Went Awry. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting orange and purple hues across the sky, Jamie could not shake the excitement bubbling within. The moment they would discover that dusty lamp in the thrift shop, it felt like destiny. Little did Jamie know, the ancient genie inside had a knack for mischief. With a quick rub of the lamp, Jamie made a wish, thinking it would be the best decision of their life. The genie materialized in a swirl of smoke, grinning with a twinkle in his eye. "What is your wish, O brave student?" he boomed, his voice echoing like thunder in the cramped room. Jamie, caught up in the moment, wished for the ultimate university experience, unlimited knowledge, and a never-ending supply of energy. As the words left their mouth, the genie chuckled, his laughter sending chills down Jamie's spine, but the thrill of adventure was too intoxicating to notice. Suddenly, Jamie found themselves in the library, surrounded by mountains of books and an overwhelming flood of information. At first, it was exhilarating, absorbing knowledge at lightning speed. However, as the hours turned into days without a break, the joy faded. Shahid felt like a walking encyclopedia, but their friends had vanished, and the vibrant social life they craved slipped through their fingers like sand. "What is the point of knowing everything if you cannot share it with anyone?" Jamie lamented, realizing that the wish had backfired spectacularly. In their quest for wisdom, they had neglected the very essence of university life, friendships, the laughter, and the late-night study sessions filled with snacks and banter. A library, once a sanctuary, became a prison of solitude, and the thrill of the genie's magic turned into a heavy burden. In the moment of clarity, Jamie rushed back to the lamp, desperation fueling their every step. "Genie, I want to undo my wish. I do not need unlimited knowledge. I just want my friends back." The genie appeared, a knowing smile on his face. "Ah, but my dear student, every wish comes with a twist. You have learned a valuable lesson today. It is not about what you know, but who you know." With a wave of his hand, Jamie felt a rush of warmth and laughter return, reminding them that the true magic of university was found in connection, not in solitary wisdom. A crash course in magic. "So, you have stumbled upon a genie lamp, eh? You are probably thinking it is nothing more than a dusty old trinket, but let me tell you, it is about to turn your life upside down. Imagine rubbing it just for kicks and suddenly being face to face with a grumpy ancient being who would rather be napping. Welcome to the world of magic, where your biggest worry is whether your genie prefers tea or coffee before granting your wishes. First things first, let us talk about the rules of magic. Unlike your favorite video games, there is no manual to guide you through the process. You will need to figure out the fine print on your wishes, and believe me, there is always fine print. Want to be rich? Great, but do not forget to check if that wealth comes with a side of chaos. Hint, it usually does. Magic is a bit like ordering takeout. You never know what you are going to get until it arrives at your door. Now, let us move on to the not-so-fun part, consequences. Magic often comes with a hefty price tag, and it is not just financial. Ever heard the saying, "Be careful what you wish for"? It is not just a glitch, it is a warning. You might find yourself in bizarre situations, like turning your ex into a toad or accidentally summoning a rainstorm during your outdoor party. Trust me, you will want to keep your wishes simple and straightforward, unless you fancy a bit of chaos in your life. The best part about being a student with a genie is the potential for epic adventures. Imagine skipping boring lectures because you are off to explore hidden realms or battling otherworldly creatures. Just remember to keep your genie happy. A grumpy genie can turn your academic life into into a never-ending nightmare of missed deadlines and unexpected pop quizzes. So, treat your magical mate with respect, or you will be regretting it when you find yourself in detention with a very angry spirit. In conclusion, diving into the world of magic is exhilarating, and it is not just about the wishes you make. It is about the lessons you learn along the way, and the friends you meet, both human and supernatural. So grab that lamp, give it a rub, and get ready for a crash course in magic that will leave you questioning reality. Just remember, in the world of urban fantasy, anything can happen, and often does. Chapter 4: The Great Wish Debate. What do I even want? In the midst of bustling university life, the question, what do I even want, echoes through the minds of many teenagers. It is a perplexing dilemma, especially when faced with endless choices and the pressure to succeed. The weight of expectations from parents, friends, and even society can be overwhelming. It often feels like everyone around has their life figured out, while you are left wandering in a fog of confusion. The reality is that it is completely normal to be unsure about what you truly desire in life. The discovery of an ancient genie lamp in a thrift shop might seem like the ultimate answer to this existential crisis. Imagine rubbing the lamp and having a genie pop out, ready to grant your wildest wishes. But herein lies the irony. If you do not know what you want, how can you ask for anything? The genie might just give you a giant pizza instead of world peace, and while pizza is great, it will not help you find your true calling. This whimsical twist serves as an important reminder that self-reflection is key to understanding your desires. As you explore your interests and passions, think about the things that genuinely excite you. Is it art, music, science, or perhaps something completely offbeat like competitive duck herding? Understanding what makes your heart race is crucial in defining your goals. Take the time to experiment with different activities, join clubs, or even volunteer. You might stumble upon something you never knew you loved, which could lead you closer to answering that nagging question. It is also worth noting that what you want may change over time. One day you might dream of becoming an astrophysicist, and the next, you might want to open a cat cafe. This fluidity is perfectly acceptable. Life is about growth and change. Embrace the uncertainty, and remember that each experience contributes to your journey. The key is to remain open to possibilities, and to trust that clarity will come with time. Ultimately, figuring out what you want is less about having a definitive plan, and more about enjoying the adventure of self-discovery. So, as you navigate the ups and downs of university life, keep asking yourself that essential question: what do I even want? And who knows, maybe one day you will find your own genie ready to help you chase those dreams, even if it starts with a surprisingly delightful pizza. The perils of wishful thinking. Wishful thinking can often lead to unexpected consequences, particularly when one is dealing with the whims of a genie. Take our protagonist, Jamie, for example. After discovering an ancient genie lamp, Jamie's mind raced with the possibilities of wishes. However, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because the universe has a funny way of interpreting your desires. Simple wish for a perfect exam score turned into a chaotic mix of confusion, where all the answers were correct, but in a language Jamie had never studied. There is a certain charm in dreaming big, but when your dreams are in the hands of a mischievous genie, reality can quickly take a turn for the absurd. Jamie soon realized that every wish came with a twist, like a bad plot twist in a poorly written novel. Wishing for popularity at university backfired spectacularly when Jamie became the center of attention for a series of embarrassing incidents rather than the admiration of peers. Suddenly, Jamie was a viral sensation, not for academic prowess but for an ill-timed slip on a banana peel. As Jamie navigated these wish-induced disasters, it became painfully clear that wishful thinking often oversimplifies the complexities of life. Each desire seemed harmless at first, but the repercussions were anything but minor. The genie, with a twinkle in his eye, made sure to deliver each wish in a way that was both amusing and frustrating. Jamie learned that wanting something does not always mean it is what you truly need, especially when it comes with a side of chaos. Throughout these misadventures, Jamie began to see the value in the mundane. The little things in life, like studying hard, spending time with friends, and enjoying quiet moments, became more precious. The allure of instant gratification through wishes paled in comparison to the satisfaction of earning achievements through hard work. Jamie's experience was a humorous reminder that sometimes the best outcomes come from patience and perseverance, rather than the quick fix of a wish. In the end, Jamie's journey with the genie was a roller coaster of hilarity and realizations. The perils of wishful thinking served as a cautionary tale, eating that while dreams are important, the path to achieving them can be filled with unexpected twists. Jamie emerged not only with stories to tell, but with a newfound appreciation for the unpredictable nature of life. After all, sometimes it is the things we do not wish for that turn out to be the most rewarding of all. Chapter 5. Campus Shenanigans. The Genie goes to university. When Jamie stumbled upon the dusty old lamp nestled between a collection of mismatched mugs and a rubber chicken, he had no idea his life was about to change forever. With a casual rub, expecting maybe a bit of dust to fly off, he instead released an ancient genie named Zafar, who was decidedly more interested in getting a degree than granting wishes. "You know, never finished my studies back in the day," Zafar declared, his spectral form swirling with excitement, "and now that I am free, it is time to hit the books." At first, Jamie was skeptical. A genie wanting to attend university? It sounded absurd. But as Zafar whizzed through the campus, asking everyone he met about their courses, Jamie could not help but get caught up in the whirlwind of it all. The students, initially puzzled, quickly warmed to the idea of having a genie in their midst, especially one who could conjure up snacks during late-night study sessions. As the weeks rolled by, Zafar's antics became the stuff of legend. He managed to charm the professors with his vast knowledge of ancient history, often correcting them with a cheeky grin. "I was there," he would exclaim, making even the sternest lecturer crack a smile. His presence transformed the mundane routine of lectures into a delightful chaos, with spontaneous quizzes on ancient magic and the occasional wish granted for extra credit. However, not everything was smooth sailing. The university administration caught wind of the bizarre happenings and decided to intervene, fearing that Zafar's unorthodox methods might disrupt the academic integrity of the institution. With a stern warning, they demanded he cease his escapades or face expulsion. Fermi hatched an elaborate plan to prove that learning could be fun, involving a campus-wide scavenger hunt that would intertwine history with modern-day challenges. As the final exam approached, Jamie realized that having a genie as a study buddy had its perks, but also its pitfalls. Zafar's attempts to help with last-minute cramming sometimes resulted in accidental transformations and unexpected distractions. Yet through it all, they forged a friendship that transcended the boundaries of the ordinary, reminding Jamie that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures happen when you least expect them, especially in the hallowed halls of academia. Potion of popularity. In the bustling corridors of university life, where popularity often feels like a treasure more elusive than a decent Wi-Fi connection, Jamie stumbled upon an ancient genie lamp tucked away in a corner of a thrift shop. Little did he know that this dusty relic held the key to his social success, or at least, that is what he hoped. With a quick rub, the genie materialized, complete with an impressive beard and a cheeky grin, ready to grant Jamie 3 wishes. "Let us make you the most popular student on campus," the genie declared, his voice booming like a rock concert. With the first wish granted, Jamie found himself enveloped in the magical potion that promised to enhance his charm and charisma. Suddenly, he was the life of the party, effortlessly charming his peers and attracting attention like a moth to a flame. It was as if he had swapped his ordinary self for a dazzling persona, complete with witty one-liners and a knack for dancing that would make even the most seasoned club-goer envious. However, as he basked in the newfound limelight, Jamie began to notice that the potion came with unexpected side effects, including a peculiar urge to wear mismatched socks and an addiction to pineapple pizza. The second wish was a bit trickier. Jamie wanted to make friends who would genuinely like him for who he was, not just for the magical charm. The genie, with a twinkle in his eye, granted this wish with a twist. He conjured a group of quirky friends who adored Jamie's unique personality, but also had their own eccentricities. Together, they formed a motley crew that could light up any room, albeit sometimes for the wrong reasons. Jamie found himself in hilarious situations, like a spontaneous karaoke night that turned into a karaoke disaster, leaving everyone in stitches. As the third wish approached, Jamie faced a dilemma. He realized that the potion's effects were fleeting, and the superficial popularity it brought was not what he truly wanted. Was it better to be adored for a fleeting moment or to forge lasting connections? With a newfound sense of clarity, he asked the genie for the ability to embrace his true self, quirks and all. The genie smirked and granted him this wisdom, allowing Jamie to navigate the social scene with authenticity, charm, and a healthy dose of humor that attracted friends who appreciated him for who he really was. Ultimately, Jamie learned that true popularity stemmed from being genuine rather than relying on magical potions. As he embraced his individuality, he found himself surrounded by friends who celebrated his quirks rather than shunned them. With laughter echoing through the halls, Jamie realized that a little bit of magic could enhance life, but the real spell of friendship was woven through honesty, laughter, and a shared love of pineapple pizza. Sometimes, the best potion of all is simply being yourself, no matter how mismatched your socks may be. Chapter 6. The Homework Heist. Wishing for Good Grades. In the bustling corridors of university, where the pressure to achieve good grades looms larger than life, a certain student named Jamie finds solace in a rather peculiar old lamp. It is not just any lamp. It is an ancient Genie lamp, tucked away in a dusty corner of a thrift shop. As Jamie rubs the lamp, expecting perhaps a bit of luck or a miracle, the genie appears with a cheeky grin, ready to grant wishes. So, what will it be? World peace? $1,000,000? Or just a decent grade in that dreadful calculus class? With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Jamie utters the wish for good grades, envisioning a future filled with academic accolades and the envy of peers. The genie, however, has a knack for mischief. Instead of simply waving his hand and making grades magically appear, he decides to turn Jamie's life upside down, leading to a series of ridiculous and often hilarious misadventures. From bizarre study sessions that involve karaoke and interpretive dance, to being chased by a library security guard after accidentally turning in a book late, Jamie learns that the journey to success can be just as important as the grades themselves. As the antics unfold, Jamie discovers that wishing for good grades without putting in the effort can lead to unexpected consequences. The genie, while funny and charming, teaches Jamie that there is no substitute for hard work. With each laugh-out-loud moment, Jamie begins to appreciate the camaraderie of fellow students and the value of teamwork, even if it means enduring the occasional embarrassing situation in public. This newfound perspective transforms the daunting task of studying into an adventure worth having. In the end, Janie realizes that while the desire for good grades is universal among students, the real magic lies in the experiences along the way. The late-night study groups filled with snacks, the unexpected friendships formed over shared struggles, and the sheer joy of learning turn out to be the true rewards. As Jamie bids farewell to the genie, now a lifelong friend, the promise of good grades seems more achievable when approached with a sense of humor and a willingness to embrace the chaos of university life. With a newfound zest for learning, Jamie strides into the next semester, not just wishing for good grades, but actively working towards them with a smile. The genie's parting words echo in Jamie's mind. It is not about the grades, my friend. It is about the stories you create along the way. And with that, Jamie looks forward to a year filled with laughter, lessons, and perhaps a few more magical surprises along the path to academic success. When spells backfire. In the heart of the bustling city, where dreams and disasters collide, our university student discovers that not all magic is created equal. When he first summoned the genie from the lamp, he imagined a life filled with extravagant wishes and delightful surprises. However, he quickly learned that every spell cast comes with its own set of complications, especially when the genie has a wicked sense of humor. Simple wish for a pizza resulted in a mountain of pepperoni that took over his flat, proving that the consequences of magic could be far messier than he ever anticipated. As our protagonist delves deeper into the world of spells and enchantments, he realizes that the line between desire and disaster is razor thin. On fateful evening, he wished for the ability to ace his exams without studying. While the knowledge did flood into his mind, it came with a side effect. He could only speak in rhymes for a week. His classmates found it hilarious, but he struggled to keep his composure while reciting Shakespearean verses in a lecture on quantum physics. The chaos escalates when a careless spell intended to enhance his charm accidentally makes him irresistible to his cat. Instead of gaining attention from his crush, he finds himself dodging full-line affection, which leads to even more awkward situations. I just wanted to impress her, not end up in a catfight. He laments, all the while trying to remove the enchanted scent that has turned him into a feline magnet. With each mishap, the student learns valuable lessons about responsibility and the true nature of wishes. He discovers that sometimes, the things we desire the most can lead us into hilarious predicaments. As he navigates through these chaotic adventures, he begins to appreciate the importance of thoughtful intentions, realizing that the most challenging magic to master is knowing exactly what to wish for. Ultimately, when spells backfire, they serve as a reminder that life is rarely straightforward. the student learns to embrace the messiness that comes with magic, turning each blunder into an opportunity for laughter and growth. With the genie by his side, he finds joy in the unpredictability of their adventures, proving that sometimes the best stories are born from the spells that go hilariously wrong. Chapter 7. Friends or Foes? The genie's rivalry. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the bustling campus, a peculiar tension filled the air. The genie, named Zara, had been living in the lamp for centuries, and now she was faced with an unexpected rival, mischievous spirit named Jax, who had recently come into play. Jax had a knack for trouble, and was determined to prove that he was the superior supernatural being, much to Zara's annoyance. Their rivalry sparked a series of chaotic escapades that left the unsuspecting university students scratching their heads, wondering what on earth was happening around them. Zara, with her elegant poise and centuries of wisdom, was initially unfazed by Jax's antics. However, as he conquered increasingly absurd challenges, like turning the campus fountain into a bubbling cauldron of jelly, it became clear that this was no ordinary competition. Jax thrived on chaos, and his carefree attitude was infectious. Students found themselves caught in the crossfire of magical pranks, and laughter echoed through the halls as Zara attempted to outwit her rival, often leading to hilariously disastrous outcomes. One day, as Zara and Jax faced off in the university's grand lecture hall, the stakes were raised higher than ever. They decided to host a magical duel, showcasing their powers to a captivated audience of students. The event spiraled into a spectacular display of magic, complete with fireworks, illusions, and a talking cat that offered unsolicited commentary. The rivalry was no longer just about who was the most powerful. It had turned into a full-blown entertainment spectacle, and the students could not get enough. Yet amidst the laughter and mayhem, a deeper bond began to form between Zara and Jax. They discovered that their differences complemented each other in surprising ways. While Zara had the wisdom of ages, Jax brought a refreshing spontaneity that made magic feel alive again. Their rivalry transformed from mere competition into a partnership, as they concocted outrageous plans that blended their unique abilities. The clashes that once filled the campus with chaos now sparked creativity and collaboration. In the end, it was clear that their rivalry had not only entertained the students, but had also taught them valuable lessons about friendship and teamwork. As Zara and Jax stood side by side, they realized that perhaps being rivals was not such a bad thing after all. The magical adventures continued, but now, they were united in their quest for fun, proving that even the fiercest of rivals can become the best of friends. The campus buzzed with stories of their escapades, leaving the students eagerly anticipating what would come next in this enchanting urban fantasy world. The quest for true friendship. In the bustling heart of the city, where coffee shops buzzed with chatter and students raced lectures, Alex stumbled upon something extraordinary, an ancient genie lamp tucked away in a dusty thrift shop. The moment he rubbed it, he was not just unleashed a genie, but also the chaotic whirlwind of friendship. It turned out that the genie, with his quirky sense of humor and penchant for mischief, had his own ideas about what true friendship meant. As Alex navigated the perils of university life, filled with deadlines and drama, he realized that friendship is not just about having someone to share a midnight snack with. The genie's antics often landed them in outrageous situations, from accidentally turning their professor into a cat, to conjuring up a spontaneous karaoke night in the library. Each escapade offered a lesson, teaching Alex that real friends are those who stand by you, even when things get hilariously out of hand. One night, after a particularly disastrous attempt to impress a crush, Alex found himself sitting on the steps of the campus, feeling utterly defeated. The genie, sensing his gloom, sat down beside him. With a twinkle in his eye, he reminded Alex that true friendship means accepting imperfections and finding joy in the messiness of life. They shared a laugh over the most embarrassing moments, like the time Alex tripped over his own shoelaces during a presentation, and the genie had to intervene to save him from further embarrassment. Through every twist and turn, Alex learned that the quest for true friendship is not about perfection, but about authenticity. The bond he formed with the genie transcended the magical chaos they created together. They became an unlikely duo, proving that even the most unconventional friendships had the power to transform lives. In the end, it was not the magic that made their friendship special, but the genuine connection and the laughter they shared. As the semester drew to a close, Alex reflected on his journey. The genie had taught him invaluable lessons about camaraderie, resilience, and the importance of being true to oneself. With a smile, He realized that sometimes, the most extraordinary friendships sprout from the most unexpected places, even from an ancient lamp in a thrift shop. And though the adventures would continue, he knew that the greatest treasure of all was the friendship he had forged along the way. Chapter 8. The dreaded exam day. A wish gone wrong again. Jamie had always been a bit reckless when it came to wishing, but this time he was absolutely certain that his latest desire was foolproof. After a long night of studying, he rubbed the ancient genie lamp he had found at a thrift shop, hoping for a simple wish to ace his upcoming exam. However, unbeknownst to him, the genie had a rather cheeky sense of humor and twisted Jamie's wish, turning his brain into a literal textbook. Instead of knowledge, Jamie found himself unable to think of anything but the definitions and diagrams that popped up in his mind in a jumbled PowerPoint presentation. At first, Jamie thought it was hilarious. He could recite every fact about ancient civilizations and quantum physics. However, when he tried to hold a conversation with his friends, he found himself quoting entire passages from textbooks instead of engaging in normal banter. His mates were bewildered, and he soon became the joke of the university, known as the walking encyclopedia. Jamie realized that his wish had turned his social life into a series of awkward pauses and eye rolls. Desperate to reverse the effects of his misguided wish, Jamie returned to the lamp, hoping to negotiate with the genie. But the genie, lounging casually on a cloud of smoke, laughed heartily at Jamie's predicament. "You wanted to be the smartest, did you? Well, how about a little more common sense next time?" He chuckled, offering Jamie a chance to make another wish. Jamie hesitated, recalling how each wish had a tendency to backfire spectacularly. With great caution, Jamie wished to revert back to his original self, with a twist. He added a stipulation that he wanted to retain some of the knowledge he had gained, but still be able to interact like a normal person. The genie snapped his fingers, and suddenly Jamie felt a rush of clarity wash over him. He could now recall facts and figures without sounding like a robot programmed to recite a history lesson. As he left the lamp behind, Jamie learned an invaluable lesson. Sometimes, the simplest wishes can lead to the most complicated outcomes. He vowed to think twice before making any more wishes, especially if the genie was involved. With a newfound respect for the power of wishes, Jamie walked away with a grin, ready to face the challenges of university life, without turning into a living textbook again. Surviving the chaos. In the heart of the bustling city, life for a university student was never dull. But the day Jamie discovered the ancient genie lamp in a thrift shop, everything changed. The chaos began with a puff of smoke and a rather grumpy genie who had a penchant for sarcasm. "You really think this is a good time for a wish?" he quipped as Jamie stood there, jaw dropped and mind racing. Little did Jamie know, surviving this unexpected chaos would require more than just a few clever wishes. It would take quick thinking and a dash of humor. As the genie unleashed his powers, Jamie found themselves in the midst of bizarre scenarios that seemed more suited for a comedy film than real life. Picture this: a lecture hall filled with students, suddenly transported to the Sahara, all while the professor continued his lecture on ancient civilizations. Jamie's attempts to keep the group calm, while dodging flying camels and confused tourists, were nothing short of hilarious. "I swear, this is not part of the curriculum," Jamie yelled, trying to hold back laughter as the genie cackled in the background. With each wish, the stakes grew higher, and the chaos escalated. Jamie soon realized that the genie had a knack for twisting wishes into ridiculous outcomes. Wanting to ace an exam? Well, how about sitting in a classroom with a talking parrot as the substitute teacher? The confusion was palpable, and Jamie had to think on their feet, convincing classmates that this was all part of an elaborate prank. The laughter was infectious, and for a moment, the chaos felt like a wild adventure rather than a nightmare. Navigating through this urban fantasy, Jamie learned that surviving the chaos meant embracing the unexpected. The once mundane university life transformed into a series of escapades that taught valuable lessons about friendship, resilience, and the importance of a good laugh. As the genie continued to stir the pot, Jamie discovered that sometimes the best way to handle chaos is to ride the wave and enjoy the ride, even if it meant ending up in a food fight with magical pastries. Ultimately, surviving the chaos was about finding joy amidst the madness. Jamie's life had become a whirlwind of magical mishaps and comedic moments, reminding them that even in the most unpredictable situations, laughter is the best medicine. As the semester went on, Jamie learned to appreciate the chaos for what it was, an extraordinary journey that was anything but ordinary. After all, who would not want to tell their friends about the time they battled flying snacks in the cafeteria, all thanks to a genius mischief. Chapter 9. The Unexpected Consequences. The Genie's Secret. In the heart of the bustling university town, Jake stumbled upon an unassuming thrift shop, the kind that smelled of old books and mystery. Among the dusty shelves, he discovered a peculiar lamp, its brass surface tarnished, yet oddly alluring. Little did he know that this lamp held the key to adventures beyond his wildest dreams, or perhaps his worst nightmares. As he polished it absent-mindedly, the air crackled with anticipation, and before he could think twice, a swirling cloud of smoke erupted, revealing a rather grumpy-looking genie. The genie, who introduced himself as Zafar, was not exactly what Jake had envisioned. Instead of the flamboyant figure adorned in gold, he appeared slightly disheveled, with a frown that suggested he had just woken up from a 1,000-year nap. "3 wishes, kid," he grumbled. "But let us not make this a habit, all right?" Jake, still reeling from the shock, could not help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Here he was, mere student, now the master of a genie with a serious attitude problem. As Jake contemplated his first wish, he realized that this was more complicated than he had anticipated. Should he wish for fame, fortune, or perhaps the ability to ace his exams without studying? But before he could make a decision, Zahir interrupted his musings. "Listen, I have got a secret," he said, lowering his voice conspiratorially. "You should know that every wish comes with a twist. I mean, come on, it is a genie's job to keep things interesting." With each wish that Jake pondered, Zahir's warnings echoed in his mind. The idea of a wish gone wrong was both thrilling and terrifying. He could wish for the perfect life, but what if it turned out to be a disaster in disguise? The thought of a never-ending pile of homework or romantic interests was actually a troll sent shivers down his spine. But then again, where is the fun in playing it safe? Finally, after much deliberation, Jake decided it was time to take the plunge. He gathered his courage and made his first wish, a mix of excitement and dread swirling in his stomach. Zahir rolled his eyes but granted it with a flick of his wrist, muttering something about the joys of watching humans navigate their own chaos. As the magic unfolded, Jake realized that the genie's secret was not just about wishes, it was about embracing the unpredictable nature of life, and maybe, just maybe, he was ready for whatever came next. A lesson in responsibility. In the bustling heart of the city, where students juggled deadlines and caffeine, Alex stumbled upon a dusty old lamp in a thrift shop. Little did he know, this was no ordinary lamp. It housed a genie with a penchant for mischief. As he rubbed it clean, the genie erupted in a cloud of smoke, demanding to grant 3 wishes. Before Alex could conjure up visions of fame and fortune, the genie offered a lesson in responsibility that would change his life forever. The first wish came unexpectedly when Alex, in a moment of teenage impulse, wished for perfect grades. Instantly, found himself drowning in a sea of textbooks and assignments he had not actually done. The genie chuckled, explaining that success came not from magical shortcuts but from hard work and dedication. Alex learned that the thrill of instant gratification could often lead to a mountain of stress, and sometimes it was better to earn your accomplishments the old-fashioned way. With his second wish, Alex aimed for popularity, envisioning a life filled with parties and admiration. However, the genie transformed him into a social media sensation overnight, complete with followers who were more interested in his latest antics than his true self. Struggling under the weight of fabricated fame, Alex found that being liked for who you really are was far more valuable than 1,000 likes on a post. The lesson hit home. Authenticity was key, and superficial connections could leave one feeling utterly alone. Finally, with his last wish looming, Alex pondered deeply. He realized that the genie had not only gifted him with magical experiences, but had also highlighted his character flaws. Instead of wishing for something selfish, he decided to wish for the well-being of his friends. The genie smiled, pleased with the choice, and granted a wave of goodwill that spread through their lives. This act of selflessness taught Alex that true responsibility lay in caring for others, and emphasizing them up, rather than seeking personal gain. As the genie prepared to depart, he left Alex with a final piece of advice. With great power comes great responsibility, my friend. Use it wisely. With newfound wisdom and a heart full of gratitude, Alex watched as the genie faded away, understanding that real magic existed, not in the wishes granted, but lessons learned along the way. The adventures that awaited him would be different now, guided by a sense of responsibility that promised to lead him to true happiness. Chapter 10. The Final Wish. Choosing Wisdom over Wands. In a world where magic often takes center stage, the allure of wands and spells can be quite tempting for any university student, especially when faced with the chaos of assignments and social life. However, as our protagonist discovers the ancient genie lamp, the true power lies not in flashy magic, but in the wisdom that comes from understanding oneself and the choices one makes. The moment they rubbed that lamp, they learned that wisdom would guide their journey far better than the flick of a wand ever could. The genie, with all his ancient knowledge and quirky humor, served as a reminder that every wish comes with its own set of consequences. Instead of wishing for the perfect grades or the ideal life, the student realized that learning from their struggles and embracing the challenges ahead would lead to more profound personal growth. Rather than relying on a magical shortcut, they found that confronting issues head-on was a much wiser choice. The adventures that followed were anything but ordinary, filled with unexpected twists and fair share of hilarious mishaps. The student quickly grasped that wisdom often came wrapped in the most absurd situations, like trying to navigate a labyrinth of enchanted books while dodging a rather grumpy dragon who had taken a liking to their lunch. Such experiences taught them valuable lessons about resilience and the importance of laughter in the face of adversity. As the student continued to rely on wisdom over wands, they forged deeper connections with friends and fellow students. They discovered that sharing knowledge and supporting one another was a far more magical experience than any spell could provide. This camaraderie blossomed into a vibrant community where everyone was eager to learn from one another, proving that the most potent form of magic lies in collaboration and understanding. Ultimately, the choice between wisdom and wands became clear. While spells might offer temporary solutions, the lessons learned from life's adventures create lasting change. The student embraced the idea that true power comes from within, shaped by experiences rather than enchantments. In this modern-day urban fantasy, wisdom triumphed, and the student became not just a bearer of magical secrets, but a beacon of insight for others to follow. A new beginning. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the bustling university campus. As students hurried past, immersed in their own worlds of assignments and social plans, Alex stumbled upon a quaint little thrift shop tucked between two towering buildings. Curiosity piqued. He wandered in, the musty smell of old books and forgotten treasures enveloping him like a warm blanket. It was there, nestled behind a stack of dusty vinyl records, that he first laid eyes on the ancient lamp, its surface gleaming with an otherworldly allure. With a mixture of skepticism and excitement, Alex picked up the lamp, feeling a strange energy pulse through him. He half-heartedly rubbed it, expecting nothing more than a bit of dust to fly off. To his utter shock, a plume of shimmering smoke erupted from the spout, swirling into the shape of a rather disgruntled genie. "Finally, someone who knows how to summon me!" the genie exclaimed, rolling his eyes as he flicked his wrist dramatically. Alex could not help but chuckle. This was not the majestic being he had envisioned, but a rather comical figure with a penchant for sarcasm. As the initial shock wore off, Alex found himself swept into a whirlwind of adventures that were as bewildering as they were thrilling. The genie, who introduced himself as Zafar, had a knack for mischief, often twisting the wishes in ways that left Alex scratching his head. One moment they were zipping through the streets of London on a flying carpet, the next they were dodging angry pigeons in Trafalgar Square because Zafar had wished for something exciting. Each escapade was a lesson in the unpredictability of magic and the importance of thinking things through. Their escapade soon became the talk of the campus, as Alex shared snippets of his adventures with his friends, many of whom were skeptical but intrigued. The contrast between the mundane life of a university student and the fantastical experiences with a genie was both exhilarating and absurd. It made Alex realize that life was not just about studies and exams. It was also about embracing the unexpected, making memories, and laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. The more time he spent with Zafar, the more he understood that every new beginning comes with a dose of chaos and laughter. As the days turned into weeks, Alex's outlook transformed. He learned to navigate, not just the tricky waters of his wishes, but also the complexities of friendship and responsibility. Zafar, with all his quirks, became an unexpected ally, teaching Alex that a little magic could turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. With each adventure, Alex embraced the chaos, understanding that every new beginning, no matter how bizarre, was just another chapter in the story of his life, filled with laughter and the promise of more to come. Chapter 11. Yaf After the Lamp. The Genie's Farewell. As the sun began to set on the bustling campus, Alex felt an unusual emptiness in his chest. The air was thick with the scent of autumn leaves, yet all he could think about was the impending farewell. The genie, now a friend who had turned his world upside down, was preparing to leave, after granting him 3 extraordinary wishes. It was hard to believe that a simple thrift shop find could lead to such monumental adventures, and a bond that transcended the ordinary. "You know, never thought I would say this, but I would actually miss your terrible jokes," Alex chuckled, trying to lighten the mood. The genie, with his vibrant blue skin and whimsical smile, had filled Alice's life with laughter and magic. They had faced dragons, navigated through enchanted forests, and even attended a magical concert where the band played songs that made everyone dance uncontrollably. Now, standing in the university quad, their shared memories felt like a bittersweet symphony. "Life is about change, my friend," the genie replied, his voice a melodic blend of wisdom and mischief. "You have the potential to create your own magic, even without me. Just remember, the real adventure begins when you step outside your comfort zone." Alex nodded, knowing deep down that the genie was right. The experiences they shared had ignited a spark within him, a desire to explore the world beyond textbooks and classrooms. As the final moments ticked away, Alex pulled the genie into a tight embrace. "Promise me you will not forget me?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. The genie grinned, his eyes twinkling like stars. "For 1,000 years, I will remember the student who dared to dream. And who knows, if you ever find another lamp, I might just pop back for an encore." They both laughed, the sound echoing through the fading light, a reminder that this was not just a goodbye, but an invitation to continue the adventure of life. With a flash of light, the genie vanished, leaving behind a lingering warmth and a newfound determination in Alex's heart. He realized that while the genie had brought excitement and wonder to his life, the real magic lay within him, waiting to be unleashed. With a smile on his face and a world of possibilities ahead, Alex turned back towards the campus, ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing his adventure was far from over. Embracing the ordinary. In the bustling heart of the city, where life often feels like a race, there is a certain charm to embracing the ordinary. For university students, the everyday grind can seem mundane, filled with lectures, assignments, and late-night study sessions. Yet, it is in these seemingly dull moments that the magic of life often hides, waiting to be discovered by those willing to look closely. Just like when our protagonist stumbles upon an ancient genie lamp in a thrift shop, the ordinary can lead to extraordinary adventures if one dares to be curious. The thrift shop, a treasure trove of forgotten items, represents the beauty of the everyday. As the student brushes dust off the lamp, it is a reminder that sometimes the most remarkable experiences come from the least expected places. Embracing the ordinary involves appreciating the world around us. Whether it is a quirky barista who remembers your coffee order or the eccentric professor who makes even the driest subjects come alive, each small encounter adds color to the canvas of university life, transforming routine into a vibrant tapestry of experiences. When the genie appears, it is not just a twist of fate, it is a nudge to open our eyes to the magic that exists in the mundane. The student learns that adventures do not always have to be grand or heroic. Sometimes, they are found in late-night conversations with friends, spontaneous outings, or even sharing a laugh over a shared mishap. Life is peppered with opportunities to create moments that might not seem significant at first glance, but can leave lasting impressions and memories. Moreover, embracing the ordinary teaches resilience. University life can be full of ups and downs, with academic pressures and social dynamics weighing heavily on students. By finding joy in the little things, like a well-timed meme or a study break filled with snacks, students can navigate their challenges with a lighter heart. This mindset not only makes the journey more enjoyable, but also prepares them for the unexpected twists that life, perhaps a genie, might throw their way. Ultimately, the lesson is clear. The extraordinary often lies just beneath the surface of the ordinary. Embracing the mundane invites a sense of wonder into everyday life, encouraging students to seek out those hidden gems that can spark excitement and joy. So next time you feel overwhelmed, remember that magic can be found in the most unexpected places, even in the clutter of a thrift shop, where a simple lamp can lead to a world of adventure. You have to do is embrace the ordinary with open arms. And so, the lamp is quiet once more. Jamie, Emily, Alex, and all the others learned that the true magic was not in the wishes, but in the journey they shared. They discovered that confronting their struggles head-on was a much wiser choice than relying on a magical shortcut. It turns out that even the most chaotic, Wish Gone Wrong adventures teach us an invaluable lesson, that the best adventures were yet to come, and that sometimes, the things we do not wish for turn out to be the most rewarding of all. The lamp might be gone, but the unpredictable nature of life and the journey of self-discovery continues. Hope you enjoyed this wild, hilarious ride through the world of the student and the genie. If this story sparked your imagination, or perhaps gave you a new appreciation for hard-earned grades over endless pizza, please let us know. Give this video a like, so more students and genies can discover this tale. Hit the subscribe button for more unforgettable adventures from Tell Yourself a Story, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new story. We love hearing which chapter was your favorite, which genie you would want to meet, and what your most disastrous wish would be. Leave a comment below. Until the next time you stumble upon a dusty treasure, remember, the real magic is always within you.